Hello everyone, welcome to Metazoa Brewing and welcome to your Saturday Evening Post Week in Review. My name is Chris Wakefield. I am the marketing manager for the Saturday Evening Post.
I'm Nicholas Gilmore. I'm a staff writer at the Post.
Troy Brownfield, staff writer.
We have a lot to catch up on this week, so let's get right into it. Now, our newest issue of the Saturday Evening Post is coming out here in just a week or so, our September-October issue for 2018. Nicholas, you have a piece in the issue about why pop music today is better than ever.
Yeah, it's part of our contrarian section, which is meant to maybe present some unpopular opinions to our readers. And so this is basically addressing maybe the memory lapse that occurs with some older pop music. I'm sure you like your golden oldies, as we all do, but there are also some not so golden oldies, and there's good pop music that's made now. So there's, neuroscience can point to different parts of your brain that, as you age, do not take in, new information and new experiences in the same way that it did when you were younger. So it's making that point, basically.
And you're comparing Rum DMC, and you have Kanye West mentioned in there, and Beyonce, and is there anything in particular that stands out to you in pop music today that you listen to and you go, that is revolutionary or really good? Or
I really liked, that's not necessarily today, but recently, I really liked Rihanna's Umbrella a lot, and thought that had a lot of the same qualities that people would think of in like classic pop music, but obviously for more like R&B and pop.
What are your thoughts on pop music today?
I think that there's good stuff in every decade. I think that some people shut themselves off from looking. I think that is a function of sometimes you get older and your tastes kind of calcify around what you listen to, maybe high school, college, and you don't look. And now there's really kind of no excuse. You have Spotify, YouTube, everything. You can go out and find stuff. It's easily accessible. You don't have to cut yourself off from it. So, and I think that there's still good stuff being made today. To say that there's not is kind of disingenuous. Just Sia, for example. It's 2 years old, but Cheap Thrills is a perfect example of a great sort of current pop song. Accomplishes everything that you'd want a pop song to accomplish.
So we're making the case to try new pop music. You may have heard one or two songs that may have turned you off, but try more of it, open your mind a little bit, and just try some of it.
Yeah, certainly.
Okay, good. And again, that's in our newest issue of the Saturday Evening Post, coming out very soon, our September-October issue. You can subscribe to the Saturday Evening Post for only $15 a year. You get 6 new issues every single year and a lot more. SaturdayEveningPost.com/subscribe for that. Now we're going to switch gears from pop music to Mars, and how we're going to do that. Troy, you have a piece online over at SaturdayEveningPost.com talking about the disappearance of the Mars rover.
Well, the Mars Observer.
Observer, sorry.
That's all right. So 25 years ago this week, the Mars Observer completely disappeared. It was...
Where did it go?
We don't know.
That's why it's disappeared.
It's a space probe that was supposed to go into orbit around Mars. It was going to do basically a year of mission, orbiting, mapping the planet, doing all kinds of things. And 3 days before it was supposed to go into orbit, after it had been in space several months, communications were lost, and they could never reestablish communications. Nobody knows what happened to it. There's a lot of theories. There have been official reports, and they think that there might have been something that broke in the fuel reserve, and it could have just spun off. But it could still be there. It could have actually continued and inserted without communication and still be orbiting Mars. It could have spun out and be orbiting the sun in what they call a heliocentric orbit. And we just don't know. You wouldn't know until you found it, is the thing. So it's really kind of interesting. It's a thing that was 5,000 pounds. How does that just kind of disappear?
Right.
And you mentioned the rover. The loss of Observer kind of made them rededicate and reconfigure. And so when they did land the rover, it was a big triumph because that was their
huge deal.
Yeah, that was when they landed Curiosity. That was the effort to figure out a new way to do it after losing Observer. And Curiosity, they thought would be able to run for about 2 years. and it's still going. It's been over 2,200 days on Mars, and it's still working. It can repair itself, and it just keeps chugging along. It had to shut down itself for a little while in June to make some repairs, and then it came back up, and everything was fine, and it's just still moving around the planet, taking samples and pictures.
The fascinating part being is that, again, the observer, you said, may still be out there. When we think of something disappearing in space, we just think it's gone forever, but 100 years from now, we may finally figure out travel to Mars. Oh, it was on the east side the whole time.
That's right.
I heard that the rover is programmed to sing itself happy birthday every year. Do you know if that's true?
Isn't that terribly
Yeah.
sad?
Yeah.
So sad. I do the same thing.
I do too.
So I can relate. Another piece we have online, Troy, you also talked about the Beatles, Hey Jude, and kind of the revolution. And was this their first coming out party, or where does Hey Jude fit in the Beatles iconism?
Okay. This is a piece that goes up on Friday because the anniversary is actually on the 26th.
Okay.
So, this was 1968. So the Beatles broke in America in '64, and so this was the period when they would start to become a little more socially conscious. You had a couple of things happening within the band, and it's kind of necessary to explain that to tell the story. But John Lennon had started seeing Yoko Ono. He split from his wife, Cynthia. And Paul McCartney went to check in on Cynthia and John's son, Julian. Because they'd been, part of the social orbit of the band, and he felt bad that they'd been kind of cut out by this new relationship that John had. So on the way to visit Julian, he starts thinking of this song that would hopefully make him feel better, and that's the genesis of what becomes Hey Jude. And at the same time, John Lennon's starting to become awakened to politics and so forth, and he's trying to put that into song, and that becomes Revolution. So over the course of a couple of weeks in 1968, the Beatles record Hey Jude and Revolution at the same time. They actually do 3 versions of Revolution. The one you're most familiar with is the one that's on the B-side.
Right.
But that single comes out, Hey Jude, the A-side, Revolution, the B-side, and it's a massive hit worldwide. I mean, it's Hey Jude's #1 in 15 countries. It's on the chart for weeks and weeks. Obviously, it's still, 50 years later, a massive song. It's like Hey Jude is one of the songs that, you started singing it, everybody could conceivably sing along with part of it.
Everyone knows it.
And Revolution, also iconic. It began kind of their socially conscious period. It opens with that awesome blast of feedback they got by overloading the board. So it just really is an iconic song, and it ends up being the #1 selling single in the United States for 1968. So it's
really They had a lot of #1s in the 60s.
What's your favorite Beatles song?
My favorite Beatles song? I like Obla Di Obla Da.
Okay. What's your favorite Beatles song?
These are 2 of my favorites.
Okay.
8 Days a Week is also a big one. My 13-year-old son likes Nowhere Man. That's his favorite song. So, and I think one of the things that's cool about their catalog is that conceivably you could have 30 people in a room, and 30 people could have different favorite songs.
So again, that piece by Troy is over at SaturdayEveningPost.com. Another piece over at SaturdayEveningPost.com is a piece from you talking about the Hermit Economy. This is something we hear a lot, but probably don't actually know what it is or what it means. What is the Hermit Economy?
So it's this idea that a lot of the sort of convenience technology that you see becoming popular today, things like at-home delivery services that come to your home, fill up your car, do your hair, deliver your groceries,
change your car
things
tire
like that.
for you.
You change your car tire.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true. That a lot of that, it's a question of whether or not that is fulfilling the need of sort of introverted people who like to be at home. Also, working from home is a big trend now, too. I mean, it all just kind of points to a lot of people being in their houses all the time. So the question is whether or not those are fulfilling a need of people who would rather be more at home, or if a lot of those trends in convenience technology is driving people to become more introverted and homebodies and creating sort of like, social anxiety and things like that.
Do you have an opinion on that? Do you have a one way or the other? We can editorialize here.
Well, yeah, I think that a lot of things in modern technological atmosphere create social anxiety, and definitely add to that. Not just services like that, but and I think digital communication in general.
You can date from home. You can conceivably you can download a Tinder.
Well, and when it comes to social anxiety disorder, SAD. There's a recent survey, a global survey, that showed that it's more common in high-income countries.
Right.
It's almost more than 3 times more prevalent.
Japan is big with this, right?
Japan isn't as common, but the USA has the highest prevalence of social anxiety disorder at 12.1%.
Wow.
For any point in somebody's lifetime that they've experienced social anxiety disorder, it's 12.1% in the USA, and that's grown from 5% in 2001.
Wow. That's all we have for this week. Once again, don't forget, you can subscribe to the Saturday Evening Post. A 1-year subscription is only $15 over at SaturdayEveningPost.com/subscribe. You get 6 new issues a year and a bunch of other benefits. Nick, where can we find you online?
I'm at Darwin Jr. with a Y.
Troy?
At Troy Brownfield.
And again, you can find me at Wakefield Report. You can follow everything the Saturday Evening Post does at Saturday Evening Post, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're all over the place. And of course, at SaturdayEveningPost.com. We'll see you all next week.